Hello and welcome to the next unit and the next module of our course. If you're ready, let's go. So the topic of our lesson today is what would you do? And in today's lesson, we'll be talking about, yes, you guessed right, we'll be talking about the second conditional, and we are going also to be talking about money. And this lesson, as usual, is divided into two parts. The first part is for beginner level students, and then the second part is for our intermediate students. Are you ready to go? Let's start. Okay, money, money, money. So our first exercise is a vocabulary exercise, okay? In this exercise, I want you to match the words or phrases with the pictures. And as usual, first of all, I'm going to read out these words and I want you to repeat after me to make sure that you know how to say them, okay? So the first one is bank, cash, ATM, also known as cash machine, bank note, or you can say just note, coins or change, wallet, purse, and then we have check and credit card. Okay? One more time. Bank, cash, ATM, cash machine, banknote, note, coins, change, wallet, purse, check, and credit card. I am sure you're familiar with some of the words, but some of them might be new. If you need a little bit more time, please, as usual, pause this slide and do it at your own pace. But we are going to move on and I'm going to show you the correct answers. Okay, so the first one, of course, is a bank. Yes, a bank. Okay, it's an international name, so I'm sure you got this one right. Okay, ATM or cash machine, sometimes also called a hole in the wall. Yes, colloquially known as a hole in the wall. But ATM, yes, so you can ask someone where is the nearest ATM or where is the nearest cash machine, because what you do there, yes, of course, you put in your card and you take out cash. Yeah, that's why it's called a cash machine. Okay, coins, or you can refer to coins as change. Yes, coins and change, as opposed to banknotes. Yes, you have banknotes or notes, and then you have coins. Yes, and coins are sometimes called change. Yes, okay, wallet or purse. Most of the time, men carry wallets, women carry purses, but it's not that strict. Okay, so sometimes you can hear women talking about their wallets, yes, and sometimes they call it a purse. Okay, but you can say that wallet is more of a name for what men carry, and purse is more for women. Okay, cash, cash. Of course, we do not use cash that much these days. We tend to use more credit cards, but cash is still very much in use. Yeah, bank note or just note. Yeah, so you can say this is a £10 note. Okay, or a banknote. It's usually shortened to note, yes, but it comes from bank note, yeah. A note issued by a bank. Okay, check. People in the UK still use checks, and not so much, I think, in the rest of the world, but in the UK, you can still come across a check. Yes, you have a checkbook and you write a check. Okay, credit card. Yes, very popular. Credit cards are very popular now. Credit cards, debit cards, different types. Yes, credit card. So otherwise known as plastic. We can call it plastic. This is a colloquial name. Yes. Do you pay cash or do you pay by plastic? Usually, people say, do you pay by cash or by credit card? But people colloquially know it as plastic. Yeah, not as opposed to paper money. This is plastic money. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So bank, ATM, cash machine, coins, change, wallet, purse, cash, bank note or node, check, credit card. If these were your answers, well done. Okay. Let us move on. And in this exercise, I want to show you the different coins and banknotes used in the UK. Of course, following the Queen Elizabeth's death, they'll need to change because in the UK, every single coin and every single banknote has the image of the Queen on it. Yes, unless there is like a special edition, then maybe not always, but I think in 99% of the cases, you will see the Queen's image, yes, on every single coin and every single banknote. Okay, so let's start from the smallest one, and this is 1 pence. Okay, so we have in the UK have pounds and pennies. Yeah, so you can this is the smallest coin you can get, the smallest denomination. Yeah, so you can call it 1p or 1 penny or 1 pence. So 3 names. Okay, and then we have 2p's or 2 pennies, 2 pence, 5p, 10p, 20p, 50p, 1 pound. Yes, now we're moving to pounds. Yes, 1 pound, 1 pound and 2 pounds, or you can say 2 pound coin. Okay, and they have different shapes and sizes. And as you can see, 2 pence is almost as big as 50 pence. So this is a bit unusual. But here we go. So they have different shapes and sizes. I think 5p is the smallest one. It's really tiny. I think it's even smaller than 1p. Yeah. So this is a bit unusual. Okay, and then we have £5 note, and then we have a £10 note, £20 note, and a £50 note. You don't see too many of those about. And in the UK, I think now most of the banknotes are made of plastic rather than paper. Yes, all the paper notes, paper banknotes have been replaced with plastic ones because they say they are more durable. Yes, they last longer. So 1p, 2p, 5 pence, 10 pence, 20p, 50p, 1 pound, 2 pound. Then we have 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, or you say a £5 note, £10 note, yes, £20 note, £50 note. That's how we say it in English. Okay, and then we have a saying in English: look after the pennies, look after the pennies, and the pounds will look after themselves. Can you guess what this saying means? Look after the pennies, or look after your pennies, and the pounds will look after themselves. Yeah, I think it's easy to guess. Okay, let us move on. So in this exercise, we'll have a look how to say prices in English, yeah? Because some students have problems, yes, with saying prices. So in this exercise, we are going to just have a look at how to say prices correctly. So the question, of course, is how much is it, or how much is this, or how much are they or these? So if it's a one thing, if it's only one thing, you just say how much is this or how much is it. Okay. How much are they? How much are these? You're talking about multiple things or things that come in pairs, like, for example, trousers. You'll say, how much are these? Yes. Or sunglasses. How much are these? Or how much are they? Yeah. Okay. And we can say, it's 10.75. Yeah, you don't have to say the currency if you know, it's obvious, but sometimes you do say that. So it's $10.75. It's £2.50 or £2.50. And then we have euros. So it's 18 euros 25. So one more time, it's 10.75 or $10.75. It's 2.50 or £2.50. It's 18.25 or 18 euros 25. Okay. Now, how about big numbers? How do we say big numbers? So first of all, 100. You can say 100 or 100. Okay. Then we have 100 or 110. In British English, you mostly say and, yes? So 110 in American English, you can drop the end, yeah? And then we have 999. 999. Notice there, no S at the end of 100. So 900, not 900s. So 999. Okay, and notice and after 100 in British English. Okay, now read. There are 5 million inhabitants in this country. So we don't say, we don't have off after 5 million. So there are 5 million inhabitants in this country. Okay, so these are large numbers. Now, very large numbers. You can again say 100,000 or 100,000. Okay, then we have a million or 1 million. And then we have, oh, that's a really, really big number. A billion or a milliard or a billion. Yes, a milliard is not really used in English. It's mostly, I think it's maybe in American English. In British English, we say billion. So, so we have a or 1 billion. Okay, then we have 100. So you can see that large numbers are divided by commas. Okay, so 126,785. Okay, 89. I read it wrong. And 89. One more time. 123,000. Okay, 456,789. So it's a little bit difficult, yeah, to read the big numbers, but do not worry, we'll practice these during our conversation lessons as well. Okay, and here you can have a little bit of practice on your own. Okay, so in this exercise, I want you to practice asking and answering questions about prices. So first of all, how much is or how much are? Okay, so you can say how much is the bowl? Yeah, but how much are the trousers? Yeah, and then if it's one, so how much is the ball? It's what? Yes, you have the prices there, so it's for you to do this exercise. Okay, or how much are the trousers? They are what? Okay, when you point at something, you can just say how much is it, or how much is this? Yes, if you're pointing at something. Okay, how much are these, or how much are they? Okay, so I want you to pause this slide, okay, and practice asking and answering questions about prices. Okay, so pause the slide and do it at your own time. Please, please, please do not skip it, because I know that a lot of students find it difficult. So that's why you need to practice. You need to practice, say, asking and answering questions about prices. Okay, so please, please, please pause this slide and do it at your own pace. Yes, and I'm going to move on, but you spend a little bit of time on doing these. Okay. Right now, lend and borrow. What is the difference? This is one of these confusing. There are two confusing words. Yes, people, English language students tend to be confused by lend and borrow. Okay, because maybe in their native language there's only one word. Yes, for both, or you just say things slightly differently. Okay, but in English, lend and borrow are quite different. So when if you remember, lend is the same as give. Okay, so then you give to or lend to somebody or an institution. So you lend something to somebody or an institution, okay? And then borrow means that you take from somebody or maybe a bank, yes, library, could be any place that you want. And it's not only about money, it could be about, you can borrow books maybe. You can lend your car to somebody, yeah? So it's not only about money. So remember, we say lend to somebody, okay? And we borrow from somebody. So lend is to give, borrow is to take. You can see this is a really good picture. Lend is to give and borrow is to take. So we're going to have an exercise in which you are going to practice. Okay, so remember, borrow, receive, and then lend is give. So could you me some money, please? What do you think? Is it give or is it receive? What do you think? Could you lend me? Yes. Could you lend me some money? In other words, could you give me some money? Yeah. Okay. Well done. Okay. Some pupils can what books from their school? Is it give or receive? Borrow, of course. So some pupils can borrow books from their school. Yes, usually from their library. Okay, then we have, will you what? Me your umbrella till tomorrow. Will you borrow or will you lend? Will you give me or will you receive? Great. Will you lend me? Well done. Will you lend me your umbrella till tomorrow? Okay. Should I what him my favorite CD? So is it receive or should I give? Great. Should I lend him my favorite CD? Well done. You may what my bike, but be careful. So is it you may give my bike or you may receive my bike? Or take, yeah? So you may borrow. Yes, you may borrow my bike, but be careful. Great. Okay, number 6. Could I what that pencil for a moment? Could I get or could I give? That's right. Could I borrow that pencil for a moment? Okay. You can what your book to Steve? Is it get or is it give? You can lend your book to Steve. Well done. Why do students what so much money from their parents? Why do students? That's right. Why do students borrow so much from their parents? Okay. And number 9, Peter won't his car to anyone. And I think that's very understandable. Peter won't lend, so he won't give his car to anyone. Peter won't lend. Perfect. And then will your mother what? You some money. Borrow or lend? That's right. Will your mother lend you some money? Okay. I hope that borrow and lend are much clearer now. Okay. Now, what would you do if you had a lot of money? What would you do if you won the lottery? Have a look at these sentences. If Sean won the lottery, he would take a trip around the world. Maxine would buy a new house if she became rich. If they had a lot of money, Kevin and his wife would buy a yacht. Okay, so we've got 3 different sentences here, right? But they have one thing in common. So the question is, what would you do if you won the lottery? If Sean won the lottery, he would take a trip around the world. Maxine would buy a new house if she became rich. If they had a lot of money, Kevin and his wife would buy a yacht. So what do we call such sentences that describe unreal, imaginary, or improbable situations? Have a look at some of the questions here. What would you do if? Where would you go if? If I could live anywhere in the world, I would. If I were rich, I would. If I got this job, I would. Do you recognize this structure? Have you come across it before? Yes, we are talking about second conditional. Okay, so second conditional, the second conditional is also known as present unreal conditional. And it is used to imagine, yes, in our heads, a different reality to what it is now. Okay, so this is not true. We imagine, yes, that there is a different reality, that things are different to what they are now. Okay, so we talk about the present or the future, but we talk about situations which are impossible, improbable, imaginary, or very, very unlikely to happen. Okay. Now, we can change, so these sentences, conditional sentences, are made up of 2 clauses, 2 parts. So first of all, we have a condition, and then we have a result. So in the condition, we have if, and if you look at the sentences back here, past tense, if Sean won. Okay, if they had. So we use past simple. And then in the second part of our sentence, we use would plus a verb. Okay, so let's go back. If Sean won the lottery, he would take a trip around the world. If they had a lot of money, Kevin and his wife would buy a yacht. Can you see that? So we have 2 parts. One part has the condition. So if this happened, this would, the other thing would happen. Okay. Now, as usual with conditional sentences, we can change the order of the 2 parts called clauses. Yeah. So we can change the order. We can start with if or have if in the second clause. So remember, we had this sentence in the middle. Maxine would buy a new house if she became rich. So the best way to remember it is that you cannot have future or a modal verb, right? Expressing some sort of future after if. So you always have to have past. Past form of a verb. Okay, so we can change the order of clauses, we call them, so 2 parts. Yeah, so you can start with if, or you can have if in the middle of your sentence or at the beginning of the second clause. We can use were instead of was with I and he, she, it, and this is often done in formal writing. Do we have a sentence with were? We'll have some sentences later. So you say, if I were, here we go, we have one here. If I were rich, I would. Okay, if he were rich, he would. Okay, so we can use were instead of was with I, he, she, it, and this is quite often done in formal writing. Okay, so these are our conditional sentences. Now let us have a little bit of practice with days, okay? And well, we have 5 sentences here, okay? So remember, one more time, we have past if with past simple, and then would plus verb. And I'll show you a variety of different situations in which second conditional can be used. So if we would have more time and money, we would go on holiday to Zanzibar. So we only fill in one verb at a time here. So if we would have more time and money, we would go. So what do we use after if? Okay, I'll show you the answers in a minute. The world, so now we change the order, okay? So the world would be a better place if everyone helped others. Okay, so we have if everyone helped others, the world would. Okay, so we have a condition here in the middle, yeah? Okay, now we have to put 2 verbs now, okay? If you would do more exercise, I am sure what you feel healthier and happier. Okay, so think carefully about this one. We start with if, you, and then verb, and then what happens after that, okay? We'll check your answers in a minute. Number 4, the order is reversed. So we start from Jack, do better in school if he. So watch out for this word if. Yes, and not so that you don't get confused. Where you have where you have past tense, and where you have would. Okay. And number 5, if I would chef, I would shout at everybody. Can you guess this one? Okay, if you need a little bit more time, or if you're not sure, and if you want to maybe go back a few slides to make sure that you understand it, then take your own time to do it at your own pace. But I'm going to show you the correct answers now. Okay. If we had, remember past tense after if, yes, if we had more time and money, we would go on holiday to Zanzibar. The world would be a better place if everyone helped others. Yeah, so here we change the order, yes, of 2 clauses, okay? If you did more exercise, I am sure you would feel. If you did, you would feel healthier and happier. Jack, so here we change the order. Jack would do better in school if he slept more each night, okay? And then the last one, if I were a chef, remember we use were for I. If I were a chef, I would shout at everybody. Yeah, a nice one, isn't it? So I hope that you got all of them right. So the key is to remember that after if, yes, we need to have past tense, and in the second part we have would plus a verb. Okay, that's it for beginner students. We will have a lot of exercises on Facebook, so do not worry. We have 2 weeks to practice days. So that is all. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to start the lesson for our intermediate students. Okay. Now we'll have some more money vocabulary. Okay. So here I want you to join a verb, match the verb with a noun or a noun phrase. And some of them are a little bit tricky because sometimes a verb can fit more than one noun or a noun phrase, but not not all of them. Not all of them work like that, okay? So I am going to read them out to you first. Okay, I'm going to read them out to you first, and then I'm going to give you the correct answers. So afford, mortgage, take out, blow, deposit, save, donate, earn. Okay, and then we have a house, a new car, large sums of money, a check, a loan, to charity, a living, and then in a bank. Afford, mortgage, take out, blow, deposit, save, donate, and earn. Okay. I'm sure you need a little bit more time to work on it because they are not very obvious. Here we go. I am going, yes. So I'm going to give you the correct answers now, but please, if you are struggling with this, pause this slide and do it at your own pace. So the first one is afford. Afford, what can we afford? Could be, yes, could be a house, could be a new car, could be anything else. So either of the two, okay? You can afford a new car or you can afford a house, okay? But a house, we need a house for another verb, yes? So mortgage, you cannot mortgage a car, you can mortgage a house, yes? Because a mortgage is a type of loan, yes, to buy a house, okay? So with afford, you can have afford a house or afford a new car, but with mortgage, you can only mortgage a house or remortgage a house, okay? Take out. What can we take out? Can we take out large sums of money? Yes, we can. Yes, take out the check? Not really. We can take out a loan. That's correct. Yes. Can we take out anything else? Take out a living? No. We can take out a loan. Yeah. We'll do that one, or large sums of money. That one is a possibility as well. But look at the next one. Blow. Do you know this one? Blow means to spend large sums of money. So this one goes there. Blow, large sums of money. Deposit. Deposit is the same as pay in. Okay, deposit. Yes, you can deposit a check, or you can deposit something in a bank, but we don't have something here, so we can deposit a check in a bank, or it can be, yeah, it's usually in a bank. Deposit a check. Okay. Save. Where do we save? Yes, we save money in a bank. Yeah, save money in a bank. Donate. What do we do? Donate to charity. You can donate money to charity. Okay. And then what do we earn? Yes, you can earn money, of course. You can earn large sums of money as well. But here, the only one that goes with a living is earn a living. Earn a living. That means earn money, basically, right? To to keep yourself going. Yeah. Okay. So if these were your answers, that is amazing. Okay, so don't worry if you didn't get all of them right, because it was, I admit, it was a little bit, it was quite a difficult exercise, and some of these were a little bit confusing. So let us move on to the next slide. And here you're going to talk about the haves and the have-nots, as they are sometimes called in English, and that means poor people and rich people. So I have some adjectives here, and I want you to put them in the right column. So is that a word for a rich person, or is that a word for a poor person? Okay, so we have penniless, can you guess? Prosperous, hard up, piss poor, affluent, well off, filthy rich, wealthy, skint, and broke. One more time, okay? As you listen, please repeat after me. Penniless, prosperous, hard up, piss poor, affluent, well off, filthy rich, wealthy, skint, and broke. So please pause this slide and do it at your own pace. And if you are not sure of any of the words, please, you can look them up in a dictionary or online, but I'm going to give you the correct answers now. So poor, you can also say hard up, penniless, piss poor, which is really, really, really poor, yeah. Skint, it's quite colloquial, but it's used quite often as well. Broke, that's another word for a poor person. Rich, prosperous, affluent, well off, filthy rich. It's not very nice to say, but people say it. Yes, filthy rich, and then wealthy. Okay, so well done if these were your answers. Okay, we're going to have a look at some more vocabulary connected with money and different types of money. Okay, so we have borrow, debit, interest rate, lend, mortgage, pension, salary. We have come across some of them already in this presentation, but I think one or two could be new as well. And it's always a good idea to practice your vocabulary because you don't learn it in one go. Yes. So A, to give the temporary use of money on the condition of a repayment and at a set rate of interest. What is this? It's a complicated explanation, yes. Okay, so can you guess which one it is? Borrow, debit, interest rate, lend, mortgage, pension, salary? I'll tell you in a minute, okay? B, a fixed regular payment typically paid on a monthly or weekly basis made by an employer to an employee. I'm sure you know this one. Okay. Okay. Then we have most of us do not buy our homes for cash, of course. Instead, we borrow money to do so. And what do we call that type of loan? Okay. D, the percentage of an amount of money which is paid for the use of that money over a period of time. Yeah. So you borrow some money, yes, and then you have to pay a little bit more, or sometimes a lot more. Yeah. E, to ask for the temporary use of money on the condition of repayment and at set rate of interest. Okay. A regular payment, that is F, a regular payment made during a person's retirement when they become too old to work. What do we call this? And then we have a sum deducted from a bank account. Okay. I think you will find this very, very useful. Yeah. So if you need a little bit more time, please pause this slide. But I'm going to give you the correct answers now. So the first one is to give the temporary use of money on the condition of repayment and a set rate of interest. So this is what banks essentially do. Yes. So they. Oh, hold on. I'll need to give you. Hold on. Okay, so this is what banks do. And this is, oh, sorry. Okay. So banks lend money. Okay, so temporarily on the condition that you repay. Okay, and that is usually a set rate of interest. Okay, lend. Then a fixed regular payment, typically paid on a monthly or weekly basis. Yeah, made by an employer to an employee. It's called, of course, a salary, and it's on a monthly basis. Yes, a weekly basis. If you are paid on a weekly basis, it's called a wage. Okay, then we have, most of us do not buy our homes for cash. We borrow money, and that money is called a mortgage. Yes, you mortgage your house or you take out a mortgage. Yes, so this is a special loan to buy a house that allows you to buy a house. Okay, then we have the percentage of an amount of money which is paid for the use of that money over a period of time. I know that sounds very complicated, and it can be a little bit complicated, yes, but this is basically the interest rate. So for example, you take out a loan, okay, of maybe £100, okay, and if it's at, you can have a 5% interest rate, so you will have to repay 5% more of that, okay? So rather than 100, you'll pay 105, yeah? Okay, although it is a little bit more complicated than that, but that's more or less what it is. Okay, interest rate. Then we have to ask for the temporary use of money on the condition of repayment and a set rate of interest. So in A, we have to give the temporary use of money, and here we ask. So we ask to borrow money, okay? The bank lends us money, and then we borrow money from the bank. Okay, then F, we have a regular payment made during a person's retirement. That's, of course, a pension, yes? And a person is called a pensioner. And then a sum deducted from a bank account is called a debit. So you pay for something, and something is debited from your account. Okay, so I hope this wasn't too difficult, although I realize some of the definitions were quite tricky. So if you've got all of them right, fair play to you, well done. And let us move on to the next one. Hold on, I just need to clear all the drawings, yes, and then we can move on to our next slide. Okay, here I am going to talk about different ways that we can talk about price. So we can say it cost a fortune. That means a lot, yes, a fortune. It cost an arm and a leg. Again, this is very expensive, okay? That's a rip-off. That means something is overpriced. It is far more expensive than it should be. You consider it's like too expensive. It's a rip-off, okay? I can't afford it. I don't have enough money to buy it, okay? That's a bit pricey. Pricey is the same as expensive. Another word for expensive. That's a bit pricey. That's a nice way of saying it, yes, rather than saying that's too expensive. That's a bit pricey. That's quite reasonable. That's quite reasonable, yes. It's a good price, yes. So you ask, how much is it? Oh, it's £10. Oh, that's quite reasonable, yeah. It's 20% off. When we say something is whatever percentage off, it means that it's cheaper than it was by 20%. So that means that there is a 20% discount. That's a good deal. That means a good value for money. That's another way of saying it, yes. A good value for the amount of money. So a good value for money. It was a real bargain. Bargain, yes, we all love bargains. That means it was quite cheap. Yes, we consider it a good deal. Or something was we consider cheap. So it was a real bargain. Maybe something was reduced, maybe something was half price, so maybe it was 60% off or something. A real bargain, yeah. It was dirt cheap. Extremely inexpensive. How much was that dress? It was dirt cheap, yeah. So really, really, really cheap, yeah. So these are some of the ways you can talk about price, and I hope that you will find these expressions useful. Here we'll have some phrasal verbs. We haven't had phrasal verbs for a while, so I think it's a good opportunity to have a look at some of them. So these will be phrasal verbs to do with money, okay? So first of all, we have pay off. Pay off means to finish paying money owed for something. So you can say we paid off our mortgage after 15 years. So finish paying, pay off. We paid off our mortgage after 15 years. Run up, create lots of debt. Yeah, so borrow a lot of money, create lots of debt means borrow more than you can pay back. Yeah, how had he managed to run up so many debts? Some people are like that. Rip off, remember this one? Charge too much. Tourists complain of being ripped off by local cab drivers, local taxi drivers. Yes, tourists complain of being ripped off. So something can be a rip off, or you can be ripped off. Okay, save up, not spend money. My parents are saving up for a trip to New York. I am saving up for a house, yes, for a car, whatever, okay? Save up. That's a really, really good one. Put aside means to save an amount of money each month. She put some money aside for her retirement. So you have you know, maybe £1,000 and you put aside 100 every month. Okay. That's a really good phrasal verb as well. Put down, pay part of the cost of something. So we put a 5% deposit down on the house. Put down, yeah, pay part of the cost of something. Put a 5%, 10% deposit down, or you can say we put down £100 for something. Okay. Come into, to be left money by somebody who has died. So she came into a fortune when her uncle died. She came into a fortune when her uncle died. Splash out. I love this one. Buy something expensive. He's just splashed out on a brand new car. Splash out. Yeah, that's a really, really good one. Buy something expensive. Treat yourself. Yeah, spend a lot of money. Okay, well done, well done, well done. Okay, now we are going to talk about conditional sentences, yes? And conditional sentence, because you remember the topic of our lesson is, what would you do if you had a lot of money? Conditional sentences are used to talk about events and their results. So we have two parts, okay? We have two clauses. If this is the conditional clause, and then the main clause. We have condition, something that happens first, and then a result that happens as a consequence, yes, of the condition. The two events are connected. One event or situation is a condition for another event or situation. These events could be factual or hypothetical, that is imaginary, yes. The results could be in the present, future, or past, yes. That this is when we talk about conditional sentences in general, yes, because you can remember that, you probably remember that we have not just two, not just three, we have mixed ones and all that, yes. But generally, this is just generally about conditional sentences, yes. And we have four types. So this is a slightly different. We have different. We call them slightly differently here than maybe you would have heard before. So we have factual conditional, which is the zero conditional, possible conditional, which is sometimes called first conditional. But if you remember those names, possible conditional, you will, I think you will know, it will be easier for you, I think, to choose which conditional you should use in a given situation. So we have possible conditional, present unreal conditional, which is normally called second conditional, and then past unreal conditional, which is third conditional. So today we're going to have a look at the first conditional and the second conditional, and we'll try to compare and contrast the two. Both the first and second conditional can refer to a future event. The main difference between the first and the second is the degree of possibility, okay? So if we look back at this one, so the first one is a possible conditional. The second conditional is also called present unreal conditional, okay? In the second conditional, the event is much more unlikely or even impossible to happen. The easy way to remember the difference is to use possible conditional for the first conditional and present unreal for the second conditional. Have a look at these sentences below. If I pass the test, I will be really happy. I have a good chance of passing the test, in my opinion, yes? If I pass, I will be happy. But look at the second one. If I passed the test, I would be really happy. I don't have much chance of passing it. So two very similar sentences, yeah, but the degree of possibility is different, okay? With the second conditional, the situation is much more unlikely or impossible to happen. Yeah, so if I pass the test, I would be so happy, but I know I probably won't. Yeah, there's a really slim chance of me passing it. Yeah. Okay, if I had a lot of money, I would move to another country. Very unlikely, right? We're talking about having thousands or millions or something like that, yes? But look at the second one. If or when, as soon as I have enough money, I will buy a new pair of shoes. This is likely, yes? Or maybe you can say, as soon as I get paid, yeah? I will buy a new pair of shoes. So this is likely, yeah? So very similar situations, yes? But, I mean, very similar sentences. They look like very similar sentences, but the two situations are completely different. If I had a lot of money, I would move to another country. If I have money, I'll buy a new pair of shoes, okay? I hope that this is clear. Now, second conditional sentences are also used to make a request sound more polite. As polite as is very important in English, as you will know, it is recommended that you use the second form as much as possible. Compare. Will it be all right if I take your car? Yeah, direct request, informal. Yeah. So you can maybe say that to, I don't know, to your partner, yeah. But if you want to be very nice, or if you're talking to a stranger, you would say, would it be all right if I took your car? This is a polite request and it is formal. If you are in any doubt whether to use a more informal or more formal language, always err on the side of caution and use more formal language. Yes, because people in the UK are really, really polite, and they really appreciate people using polite language when talking to them. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. Now we're going to have a little bit of practice. First of all, you need to decide whether we have first or second conditional. Okay, we haven't got the key. If we want the key, we would get into the house. So as I'm reading them out, you give me, you put in the correct verb form in there. If you not, Harry will be late. The train is leaving in 20 minutes. First or second. If I won the lottery, I move abroad to a warm country. Okay. Looks like the weather is going to improve. If be sunny at the weekend, we'll go to the seaside. So with each sentence, you need to decide how likely or how unlikely it is to happen. Yeah. Alex enjoys his work. He wouldn't do it if he not like it. I don't know anything about technology. If my computer break down, I wouldn't know what to do. If I be you, I would never trust this man. The next one is a question. You come to the party if Sarah invites you. 9. Would you mind if I ask you a question? Remember, polite language. Okay. I will help you with the exercise as soon as I would finish the dishes. Okay. If you are not sure and if you would like to spend a little bit more time on it, please pause this slide, but I'm going to give you the correct answers now. We haven't got the key. If we had the key, we would get into the house. Yes, imaginary, improbable, impossible situation. Yes, because we don't have the key. Okay, if you don't hurry, we'll be late. The train is leaving in 20 minutes. So this is, yes, possible. Yeah, if we don't hurry, we'll be late. If I won the lottery, I would move abroad to a warm country. Yes, it is quite unlikely that I would win the lottery. Okay. Looks like the weather is going to improve. If it is sunny, so it's possible to happen. Yes, if it is sunny at the weekend, we'll go to the seaside. Yeah. Alex enjoys his work. He wouldn't do it if he didn't like it. Yes, so he likes his work. So we imagine a different situation, yes, that he doesn't like his job. Yeah, so he wouldn't do it if he didn't like it. I don't know anything about technology. If my computer broke down, again, an imaginary situation, okay, I wouldn't know what to do. If I were you, so we put yourself into somebody else's shoes. If I were you, I would never trust this man. So this is impossible. I can never be somebody else. Yeah. Will you come to the party? If Sarah invites you, possible. Would you mind if I asked you a question? This is a nice and polite turn of phrase. Yeah. I will help you with the exercise as soon as I finish the dishes. Yeah, of course, this is possible. This is happening in the future. Okay. I hope that you got all of them right. Now, in this exercise, we're going to practice second conditional. So here I want you to just pay special attention. It's no tricks here. Pay special attention to the correct form. I don't know the answer. If I what, I what. We haven't got the key. If we have the key, we get into the house. Just put the correct forms there. Okay, if it helps you, you can copy those sentences and write them down to practice a little bit more, but you don't need to do that. What I want you to do is to say these verbs, say these sentences, say these verbs. Okay, if I win the lottery, I buy a flashy sports car. Number 4, Sue enjoys her work. She not do if she not like it. I haven't told Anne what happened. She be angry if I tell her. It is not a very good hotel. I not stay there if I be you. So remember always past tense after if. Okay, and then would in the second part. I don't know about anything about cars. If a car break down, I not know what to do. We had a similar sentence in the previous exercise. It is a pity you have to go now. It'd be nice if you have more time. I am not going to take the job. If the salary be better, I take it. And the last one, if you can change one thing in the world, what? Change. Okay. Please, if you are not confident yet with the second conditional, please pause this slide, do it at your own pace, or maybe write it in a notebook and then practice speaking them. But I'm going to give you the correct answers now. I don't know the answer. If I knew, I would tell you. This is again an imaginary situation. I don't know the answer. That's the reality, yes? So you imagine a different reality. If I knew, I would tell you. I'd tell you, okay? We haven't got the key. If we had the key, we would get into the house, but we don't have the key, yeah? If I won the lottery, again, an imaginary situation, I would buy a flashy sports car. Sue enjoys her work. She wouldn't do it if she didn't like it. I haven't told Anne what happened. She would be angry if I told her. Remember, sometimes we can switch the order of the clauses, okay? It is not a very good hotel. I would not stay there, or I wouldn't stay there if I were you. So you put yourself into somebody else's shoes. I don't know anything about cars. If a car broke down, I wouldn't know what to do. Okay, it is a pity you have to go now. It would be nice if you had more time. So again, I think these are some of these sentences are a little bit tricky because we change the order of sentences, but you have to know them, how to say them both ways, okay? I am not going to take the job. If the salary was better, I would take it. And the last one, if you could change one thing in the world, what would you change? Okay, so I hope that you got all of them right, or at least 80%, but I'm sure you didn't do too badly on them. Okay, and I want you to have a look at these questions and think how you would answer these questions. What would you do if you won the lottery? And how do you answer? If I won the lottery, I would. So think about some things that you would do if you won the lottery, okay? What would you do if you saw a ghost? How do you answer? If I saw a ghost, I would. Okay. What would you do if you could be invisible for a day? Then you can answer, I would. Do what? Okay, think about that. What would you do if you didn't care what other people thought? I would what? What would you do if you had 24 hours to live? If I had 24 hours to live, I would. Okay, so pause this slide and think about what you could answer in such situations. And now we're going to just move on, and this is our last slide, and this is just for a laugh. Okay. What would you do if we broke up? I would go back to my ex. Really? Wow, our relationship is over. Want to go out? I love you. I thought you would go back to your ex. You are my ex. I love this one. I just love this one. Okay. What would you do if I got you into my bed? Is it comfortable? Yes, I would sleep. I think that's a good one too. And the last one is, what would you do if you won 1,000,000? Me? I hope that you enjoy these. Okay, so this is all for our lesson today. Thank you so much. Any questions, comments, please post them in our Facebook group, and make sure you come to our conversation class on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.